Kohala Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Hakradash. Double honors to the elder apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, for teaching his word in truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad, and peace and salutations to the sincere Akim that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity to USA Shalom. This is Deuteronomy 28:37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, a byword amongst all nations, whether the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, shall lead thee. And our people are living up to that, man. You know, they living up to that byword. And this video is basically just from the last couple of days that I've been at work, to and from work, on the job, and I've listened to Jake. I've watched Jake. It's an everyday thing, but you know, it's just the spirit made it just resonated with me. The spirit made it just resonate more these last few days, and you see why we're looked at and hissed at by these other nations, and particularly Esau, Edom, because we act like fools. You know, we say some of the foolish things, you know, and our people act in that manner, you know, whether it's from their attire, you know, to the nonsense that they talk about, you know, how they engage other people is really ridiculous. And 2/3 of our people have to be purified through fire, you know. I'm gonna stay on that byword for a second, you know, go through a few verses with byword. I don't want to make it too long, but 1 Kings 9:7. Then will I cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them, and this house which I have hallowed my name will I cast out of my sight, and Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all people. And you see why Esau calls us all sorts of names. You see why these heathen nations, these other nations, call us all sorts of names and treat us in such a manner, because we pretty much act out exactly what they're saying, because they see how our people act, you know. In particular, you know, like I drive pretty much all day at work, and I'm seeing women walk around scantily clad, you know, whether they look good or they don't, you know, as far as physical appearance. They walk around with their ass out, their breasts out, you know, all sorts of makeup and shit. They walk around here every day like it's Halloween, you know. They made up like you going to the circus. They look like clowns. Our women are destroyed, you know, following after these other nations. The men are the same, man. You know, whether they have a prison mentality, you know, walk around here with their pants hanging off their ass, you know, walk around here and, you know, looking crazy, but they have a feminine spirit on them as well, man, from just being around these, particular Esau, man. You know, these people, like our people really have demons on them, you know, fortified, you know, truckload, 18-wheeler load type, you know what I'm saying? Like an 18-wheeler is loaded with goods. The demons that's on our people, man, are like an 18-wheeler loaded with goods, man. It's like, it's so, you could just see so many of them on them at one particular time, you know. And then they believe in such crazy philosophies, you know what I mean? Granted, man, you know what I'm saying, a lot of our people, you know what I'm saying, myself included, has read, you know, these different philosophies from these different nations, man. You know, whether you practice it or not is different, but it's all in the same, man, where, you know, you entertain all these different things, man. And that's why we fell out with our power. That's why we fell out with Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. For that same reason, for just, you know, not listening, being stiff-necked and disobedient. This is Jeremiah 4:22. For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. You know, sottish meaning stupid, foolish, ignorant. You know, just flat out being stupid, man. Like, I listened to this guy. This might have been 2 days ago, and this dude was talking about some 5% nation bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I've read those, you know what I'm saying, that nonsense. You know, I go into a whole lot of numbers and go into all this philosophy and all this other shit. You know, I don't even remember half of that shit, but I just know that it was, you know, at the time you young, and I had never subscribed to the scriptures. I have never subscribed to the Bible. So I was always, whether it was studying lineage of you know, Ham, because, you know, they tell you that, you know, all people were born in Africa. All civilization started in Africa. So if you don't have knowledge of the scriptures, that's kind of where you start, and it just leads to all these different ideologies and philosophies, and none of that stuff is of your customs. It's not your heritage, you know. So I'm listening to this dude talk, and he's talking to a chick, you know, and he's telling her all about understanding, overstanding, instanding. It was a bunch of nonsense, you know what I'm saying? And she was just eating it up because our women were beguiled by the serpent in the garden, meaning she went and was listening to these different nations, listen to a heathen nation and their philosophy. You know, that's that same spirit of Esau, Edom, man, a deceiver. You know, and they deceived her. You know, basically, you know, entertained her with, you know, acquiring knowledge that wasn't given to us. That wasn't given to her. And from that point forward, man, you know, because she sinned, man, she was able to get Adam to sin, and from that point forward, man, we have a lifespan. We, you know what I'm saying, we all die now. We, you know what I'm saying, we all have an expiration date. So, but you know, when you really look at it, man, it's all part of the Most High's plan. It's all part of his story. It's all part of his movie. This is his script. So he made it for that, you know, so that we can go off like this, so he can, you know, redeem us in order to magnify his name the same way it was magnified and praised, you know what I'm saying, in our exodus out of Egypt. And to this day, you know, our people still go off in that same manner, the same manner we went off in the wilderness. That's why he had us wandering around for 40 years. You know what I'm saying? That's why he had our people wandering around like that, because, you know what I'm saying, you're just stiff-necked and disobedient. You won't listen. And it's mainly because of this, man. You know, 2 Timothy 3:2, for men shall be lovers of themselves, of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. And you know what I'm saying, a lot of the things that we get into and entertain, man, is unholy, man. Because we were given a set of laws, we were given instructions, rules, but we wanted to live like these other nations, man, willy-nilly. You know what I'm saying? Do as thou wilt. You know, do according to your own flesh and feelings and lusts. And where has it gotten us, man? You know what I'm saying? Where it gotten us is right here in Babylon, in the worst captivity we've ever faced. You You know what I'm saying? And it's about to get even worse with Jacob's trouble. You know, Jeremiah 30:7. It's about to get worse. And our people just don't see it because they too busy dancing. You know what I'm saying? The Pied Piper is piping. And they're just right behind them like mice. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like the episode of the Boondocks, man, with R. Kelly, man. As soon as he started singing, man, these motherfuckers just, you know, they go crazy. You know what I'm saying? And they willing to, you know what I'm saying, commit all sorts of atrocities unto the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai just to fulfill their own bellies. This is Psalms 78. And I'm going to read from verses 40 to 42. How oft did they provoke him in the wilderness and grieve him in the desert? Yeah, they turned back and tempted power and limited the Holy One of Israel. When you go into that word limited, it's bear with me for 1 minute. That's Psalm 78. It pretty much means to pain them. I just want to give the coordinates, give the number of its coordinates. That's Psalm 78 and 41. And when you go into the word limited, is H8428 Tawa, and it means to pain, wound, trouble, cause pain. So basically, man, we paint the Most High. We cause pain to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, by being unthankful, man, unholy to his great deeds that he did for us. You know what I'm saying? He pulled us up out of that captivity, and what did we do? We started bitching and moaning, complaining, you know, creating idols, partaking in things that we learned there in Egypt, reminiscing about Egypt, and not having focus on what he had planned for us. So we deserve every bit of the bullshit and punishment that we deserve every bit of the punishments. You know, Salaki, don't, you know what I'm saying? They mean to go off there, but we deserve every bit of the punishment that we got from the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Everything that he dealt to us, we deserved every bit of it, even to this day. You watch our women, they have the foulest mouths. You know, they walk around with the spirit of a man on them, you know, with the essence of a man on them, like, you know, broad shoulders, narrow waist. I ain't gonna say all of them, but, you know, you got Big Shirley running around with her belly out, Daisy Dukes on, you know. You see how they treat their children, you know, how they treat men. And then on the flip side, how men treat women. How they, you know, men have a little bit more koof, I would say, with their children. But at the same time, man, you just look how they raise their children. Look how they conduct themselves in public. You know, the things that they decide to speak on and be proud when they speaking on these things. They speak on all fallacious type of things, man, and felonious shit they talk about. This is verse. I'm gonna read read verse 41 again. Ye that turn back and tempt. This is Psalm 78 and 41. Ye turn back and tempted power and limited the Holy One of Israel. So you cause pain to the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Verse 42, they remembered not his hand, nor the day when he delivered them from the enemy. So, immediately, man, as soon as we got across, as soon as he divided the water, as soon as he divided the sea for us, we immediately started talking crap. And it was even beforehand, on the way to that deliverance, talking mess, talking smack, being, just being ungrateful. This is Acts 7 and 51. Acts 7 and 51. Ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and eyes, ye do always resist the Holy Ghost, as your fathers did, so do ye. So, just like in Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, man, there's nothing new under the sun. We continue to do these things, man. After every incarnation, after coming back, after dying and coming back, you do the same thing. So you like our people, we are just fulfilling our lots, man. And being in the truth is just that much more painful, watching it. But at the same time, it's like, they gotta go. I've said this years before I even came into truth, man. We need an ethnic cleansing. Not knowing, that's the spirit right there, but not knowing that's exactly what the scriptures is talking about. You're going to be ethnically cleansed. You're going to have to be purified, with fire, and then be reborn in the kingdom because of your wickedness, man. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, there is nothing new. There is, Salakia, the thing that has been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Verse 10, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new, it hath been already of old time, which was before us? Verse 11, there is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So, you don't remember how wicked your ass is, but you're continuously living out that lot, until the Lord pulls a blindfold from your eyes, and you actually see the truth that lies right there in them scriptures. You're going to continuously do the things that you do, man. There's a balance to it, man. The Lord creates good and evil. So there's a balance to it, and he's going to keep you in that state, man. He's going to keep you in that state of mind. If he decides, to bring you out of it, a lot of our people have to be purified through fire, and it's more evident being in the truth. Like you see how wicked our people is, and some of the things we've done in past. But watching it, and then you think about it, and you're just like, damn. Because it's heartbreaking at times, because you're just like, damn, these people just won't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you come across people that you might talk with, and you hear the things that they believe in, and it's like, you believe that? Like, some of the things I've heard is just outright ridiculous, especially when you talk about these people that play with witchcraft, like women that play with witchcraft, and these dudes that subscribe to all these different philosophies, whether it's Buddhism, or dealing with Islam in its many fashions. It's like the other day was just wild. You know what I mean? But this is 2 Thessalonians 2:11. And for this cause, power shall send them strong delusion that they may believe a lie. And that's what our people are doing, man. They believe in a whole lot of lies. You know, anything that sounds good, anything that's kind of easy, you know. Because when you look at the heathen nations, man, they do as they please, man. There's no real order to what they do outside of, you know, being heathens, you know, you know what I'm saying? Being, you know what I'm saying? Being ungodly, you know, as the scriptures say, being ungodly. Like, there's no method to their madness. You know, they go by how they feel. Where we were given certain instructions, man, and an order to live by, man, and to walk that path is kind of, you know, you could say it's difficult, especially when you're looking at other people just like, you know, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like if you looking, if you stand on the outside of Smurf Village and you watching them just jump around and dance around, and you have to follow a particular path. You know what I'm saying? I guess, you know what I'm saying, some people would just be like, you know, I'd rather be like them, and that's what and that's the spirit our people have, man. I'd rather be like them, but it's all for naught, because you're gonna have to go through. Like, you're gonna have to go through that fire here, man. You're gonna have to get burnt up. You're gonna have to swim in that lake of fire. You know what I'm saying? With these other nations, man. But the beautiful thing about the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is that he can't lie. He doesn't lie. You know, he doesn't change. His word is immutable. And he promised us certain things, you know, and one of them is everlasting salvation. So our people that die on this side, man, because of their ignorance, because of their stupidity, because of their unwillingness to fall in line, they'll be born again in the kingdom through the 1/3. So 2/3 of our people must perish here. They must go through that fire here. This is Ezekiel 20. And I'm going to read verses 30 through 36. And I'm going to try not to make it long. Wherefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, are ye polluted after the manner of your fathers, and commit ye whoredom after their abominations? And, you know, yeah, because you're going to come back to do the same thing again. Every third or fourth generation, man, you coming back to do this, you know, to fulfill your lot. And hopefully at some point, you know, if you are of the elect, if you are of that, the Lord's first fruit, if you are part of that remnant, he'll wake you up, you know. Verse 31, for when ye offer your gifts, when ye make your sons to pass through the fire, ye pollute yourselves with all your idols, even unto this day. And shall I be inquired of by you, O house of Israel? As I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will not be inquired by you. I will not be inquired of by you. And that which, 32, and that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all that ye say, we will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries, to serve wood and stone. Yeah, man. And you see it. You see it. Especially that Islam thing, man. You know, worshiping the rock in the box, you know, wood box with a stone in it, you know. You got our northern tribe people that, as you can't call them, they are brothers and sisters, but they're not in this truth. So our northern tribe family, man, they always do that symbol of the cross across their body, you know, praying to their idols. They always have these little funny looking statues of Edomite angels and, you know, They dive heavy into witchcraft and things of that nature, man. If it's not of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, it's foolishness and it's witchcraft, man. "33. As I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered." So, that's part of the promise, man. He's gonna pull us up out of here, man. His elect remnant first. His first fruit spirits, they'll be pulled first. And when the 2/3 get purified through fire, they'll wake up in the kingdom, man. So he's going to live up to his word. He's going to pull Israel from among these heathen nations. And he's going to have these heathen nations under our, under our foot. They're going to have to follow and obey the laws, statutes, and commandments that's written in this Bible. I read 34 again. "And I will bring you out from the people, and I will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand, with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out." 35. "And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face." And when you go into that word plead, let's go look that up. Plead. That means he's gonna judge you, man. It don't mean he's gonna sit there and beg you to do accordingly. He's not gonna do that. That means he's gonna judge you. Ezekiel 20. When you look up the word plead, that's the Strong's Concordance, H8199. Shaphat. To judge, govern, vindicate, punish, to act as lawgiver or judge or govern of God and men and man, to rule, govern, judge, to decide controversy, to execute judgment. So, our people is in for a rude awakening, man, especially those that are still playing around with that Jebus character, If you still calling upon Jebus, man, you're gonna have a rude awakening. Because his name is Yahweh, and his only begotten son's name is Yahweh Shai. It's not Jebus. I refuse to say the name, so you will hear me say Jebus. Verse 36. Actually, I'll read 35 again. "And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So will I plead with you, saith the Lord Yahweh." So basically, that's why we were wandering around. That was a judgment. Wandering around for 40 years because of our disobedience. that first generation of our people, of our forefathers had to die, and then, you know, Joshua led that next generation. This is Psalms 96, 4 and 5. For the Lord Yahweh is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. And, you know, our people don't have fear of the Lord, man. You don't have fear of the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. You don't have fear of the Lord, you know, because you would second guess and check a lot of the things that you do and say. You know, sometimes, you know, we go off, because we in this flesh and it's not going to be perfect. But it's about recognizing and acknowledging the Most High, you know, considering, you know, and that's what 2/3 of our people just don't do, man. They're wicked as fuck, man. They're wicked as shit. And like I said, I watch it every day. You know what I'm saying? I live in a major inner city, and I just watch them boo-boo the fool, coon around all day. Psalms 96, 4 and 5. For the Lord Yahweh is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord Yahweh made the heavens. You know what I'm saying? But our people like to listen to Esau, man. Big Bang Theory and all this other nonsense and this Yakub shit that them, you know what I'm saying, that them 5%ers that, you know what I'm saying, the shit that they chase around, you know, spewing out their mouth. They don't have, you know what I'm saying, they don't know Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. They don't fear Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So it's like, you know, I know there ain't no such thing as luck, but you just say it, man. Like, good luck, bruh. You know, have fun with that. Because the end that's coming to you, man, is going to be fervent heat, man, from an ICBM and also from them laser beams from them chariots. This is Ecclesiastes, Sirach 13 and 14. Love the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, all thy life, and call upon him for thy salvation. And that's what our people need to do, man. First, you need to go repent and call upon the true name of the Most High and his only begotten Son. And that's Yahweh Yahweh Shai. You know, with that, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Radash, Abad Babal.